This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. President Trump has signed an executive order reimposing economic sanctions on Iran. The action follows a decision last May to dump out of the nuclear agreement he calls the worst deal ever negotiated by the United States. Gary Lane has the details.
The U.S. sanctions target Iran's technology, automobile, currency, and precious metal industries. The punitive measures are expected to further damage the country's economy and exert more pressure on the regime. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised President Trump's decision, calling it an important moment for Israel and the world.
I call on the countries of Europe who talk about stopping Iran to join this move. The time has come to stop talking. The time has come to do. And that is exactly what the United States is doing, and that is what Europe should do.
But the European Union is unlikely to join in. It's taking actions to shield businesses from penalties imposed for violating U.S. sanctions. They ensure lucrative oil, banking, and investment deals with the Islamic Republic can move forward when a tougher set of sanctions takes effect in November. In Iran, Trump's strategy is already having an effect. A worsening economy has led to anti-government protests. A growing number of Iranians are demanding an end to the regime. President Rouhani denounced the sanctions, calling them psychological warfare. But he opened the door to direct talks with preconditions, a U.S. apology and payback.
If the U.S. government is ready today to negotiate about paying compensation to the Iranian nation from 1953 until now over its meddling in the life of the Iranian people, we are ready for talks to see how they are going to compensate and pay us back.
President Obama already returned at least $150 billion from a canceled arms deal. Middle East analyst Robert Spencer.
It was the Shah's regime that had made the arms deal that was canceled, and so it did not by right belong to the Islamic Republic.
And even if the U.S. stands alone against Iran, Spencer says Trump's approach may be enough to make a huge difference.
He has reversed the policies of appeasement that Obama pursued so indefatigably for 8 years. And this could bring about the downfall of the regime, which would be good for the Iranians and good for the world.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
Now let's look at some of the other major headlines we're following for you today inside the CBN newsroom. A massive new wave of persecution of Christians has been taking place in China. In the spring, China's president introduced a 5-year plan to, quote, sinicize all of the nation's religions by infusing them with Chinese characteristics, such as loyalty to the Communist Party. Over the last several months, the government has shut down hundreds of private Christian house churches and seized Bibles. Some Christians have even lost their jobs or been evicted from their homes. New evacuations are ordered over the weekend as fires continue to burn in Northern California. Twin fires known as the Mendocino have burned 443 square miles north of San Francisco. The blaze continues to grow and has become the largest wildfire in the state's history. The fire is only about 30% contained and is threatening more than 11,000 buildings. President Donald Trump is predicting a, quote, tremendous victory for Republican senator in Ohio's special election. Senator Troy Balderson is running for an open congressional seat. During a rally in Ohio, the president promoted Balderson and other Republican office holders in the state. President Trump called Balderson the guy who will do things. Voters take to the polls today for that election. For more on these stories and others throughout the day, be sure to check out cbnnews.com. Apple, Facebook, and YouTube have dropped the material from Alex Jones, the often controversial host of the online site InfoWars. The company said they acted because of allegations of hate speech, but the sudden move raised questions of censorship by big technology companies. The action comes after Twitter was charged last week with shadow banning prominent Republicans. Shadow banning refers to what some see as an attempt to silence conservative and Christian messages on social media. As Caitlin Burke reports, one of the latest victims is the church.
Pastor James McDonald admits he wasn't a big fan of Donald Trump, the candidate, mainly skeptical of policy promises and concerned over his moral history. But now McDonald says he's been impressed with President Trump.
Recently on Facebook, the Harvest Church pastor asked his viewers to pray for and support President Trump as he considered his second Supreme Court nominee. That's when something suspicious happened.
McDonald's podcast, Walk in the Word, a favorite on iTunes, vanished from the charts. The podcast, which had never dipped below the top 40, wasn't even making the top 200.
The only thing we could really conclude was it was within 24 hours of us posting about praying for Donald Trump in the new Supreme Court election.
Walk in the Word suspects it's become part of a growing number of prominent conservative and Christian groups shadow banned by tech giants like Facebook, Twitter, and now Apple. That means the user and their content have been blocked by an online community without their knowledge.
Not surprising. I mean, look at what Facebook stock is. I mean, they've taken a nosedive this week. Twitter losing significantly as well. People are tired of this left-wing initiative effort to silence conservatives. And I think that's why you see more and more people coming to, more and more evangelicals in particular, coming to CBN and other outlets that they can trust, who know they're going to tell them the truth.
Twitter has been accused of limiting the visibility of prominent Republicans in search results. The company responded with a blog post saying it does not shadow ban. However, Twitter did seem to admit that it makes certain users' posts harder to find. Walk in the Word says it can't come up with any other explanation for the sudden drop from iTunes charts.
We haven't gotten anything more than really a form letter response. We want to believe the best, but at this point we can't seem to come to any other conclusion than something is either technically going wrong or there's a censorship going on here because of the correlation with that post and all of the metrics that we have that show that we should still be ranking in the top 20 to 50.
The ministry's legal counsel, the National Center for Life and Liberty, sent a formal letter to Apple inquiring about the disappearance and requesting an explanation. CBN News has also reached out to the tech giant, and so far, no response to either request. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Saudi Arabia is transferring thousands of Saudi students studying in Canada after a Canadian official criticized the country's human rights record. The move comes after Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister last week called for the release of civil rights activists jailed in Saudi Arabia and expressed concerns over a crackdown on the dissidents in the Muslim country. Saudi Arabia in turn expelled the Canadian ambassador, recalled its ambassador to Canada, and put trade deals between the two countries on ice. Reports indicate there are some 15,000 Saudi students studying in Canada who will now be moved to other countries, like the U.S. or Britain, that is according to a Saudi official. Evangelist Greg Laurie has been forced to take down a series of billboards depicting him holding a Bible at a popular mall in Southern California. Laurie contracted a local company to advertise the upcoming SoCal Harvest Crusade at Fashion Island. That's an outdoor mall in Orange County. However, the company removed the ads after receiving multiple complaints. A spokesperson for the church says they do not blame the company for removing the ads. They blame the culture. The SoCal Crusade will take place August 17th through the 19th. Up next here on CBN NewsWatch, should the church be talking about sex more? And what is life like for Christian singles who want and hope to get married? We're going to talk about those questions right after this. Christianity Today's managing editor Joy Beth Smith has written a new book called Party of One, Truth, Longing, and the Subtle Art of Singleness. Our Heather Sells spoke with her recently about why she thinks the church should be talking more about sex and what it's like to live as a Christian single waiting to be married.
Joy Beth, you have written this book, Party of One, and you're talking very candidly, very thoughtfully about singleness. And I think it's interesting because you talk about how hard singleness is, but you also say, I think singleness is God's best for me right now because this is the stage that I'm at. So how do you reconcile those two tensions?
It is not easy. It is hard to live in something where you experience unfulfilled longing, but you still have to believe that God is good and that is what He's choosing to give you over choosing to give you the desires of your heart. And so I have to live every day knowing that even though I want this thing over here, for whatever reason, God's choosing not to give me that, and that He is choosing to give me singleness, which we know is a gift, and that Paul even says that it's good and it's better than being married. And so I have to kind of live in the truth that God knows better than I do, and that this is more than I could ever imagine, even if it feels less than what I want.
Right. How do you practically live that out? How do you live that out knowing this could be a short season, a long season? You don't really know how your life is going to unfold. Neither does anyone, for that matter. But
yeah, I was kind of raised with the belief that you use singleness as a way to prepare for marriage, that you kind of become a really good cook and you become the best pre-wife possible, And I have rejected that, basically. And so now I kind of use singleness as a way to live my best life possible. You know, I am buying the furniture that I want. I am leaning into the ministries that I want to be involved in, not just because I think that they would make me good wife material, but because they're the best way to use my gifts and talents. I'm getting the jobs that I want to, even if it means that I travel a lot. So I'm not able to go on a lot of dates and meet a lot of men, you know. I'm joining Bible studies, not because of the male to female ratio, but because they're the ones that I want to join. And so I think that for me, it looks like being invested in the community that I have, and not because of the way that it positions me to find a mate.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you about sex, because you write about sex in the book, and you talk about that we should be talking about it, and you write about masturbation and porn. So how, as believers, and especially as single believers, what are the kinds of healthy conversations that we can have around these issues?
Yeah, I think people probably just fell out of their chairs right now.
Right,
you say the word
if you're still with us, stay tuned. Yeah.
So I think that the fact that we're having this conversation right now is great. I think that people from, you know, you should have healthy conversations about sex and sexuality. I mean, from the time that your children are young, growing up, I think that there's an ever-evolving conversation about the body and what the body does and how your body interacts with other bodies. And we just don't have that in the church. And so it leaves this deficit of conversation that can only be filled by secular conversations, secular dialogue that's going on. And so if we're not having that, other people will have it with us. And so that means, especially for single people who are living their life and we're telling them, you can't have sex, you can't go and have sex. So that means what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do with these bodies that have urges, you know? Yeah. And so that means we're looking for other outlets, other outside sources. And so we turn to porn, or we turn to masturbation, or we turn to other things, and we don't know the truth. We don't know how the church stands on it. We don't know what a biblical opinion is, because no one is willing to talk about it. And so instead, in my book, what I say is, you know what? The Bible doesn't have a definitive stance on some of these issues. Some of it definitely does, but the Bible doesn't have a definitive stance on some of it. And so we have to kind of grapple with it openly, and, you know, let the Spirit guide you. You know, get in the Word, have godly counsel, and make a decision for yourself. But if you're not tackling this, then you're not doing a very good job of speaking truth.
Coming up, the story of a remarkable family who's also a gospel recording group. They're going to tell us about their musical lives, their careers beyond the world of music, and how God can turn around a tragic situation. We got the story coming up next. Less than an hour northwest of New Orleans sits Hammond, Louisiana. That is where I met with an amazing family. The Showers family is a gospel singing group nominated for Stellar Awards and countless others. And they've got a true story of how God can give you beauty for ashes.
Hammond is a postcard-perfect Louisiana town. Its population, about 20,000 people. Gospel recording artists, the Showers Family Group, are among the city's most famous homegrown residents. And they're just 7 of Bobby and Oraline Showers' 10 children.
My dream was to have 2 girls and 2 boys. And I was blessed with 2 girls and 2 boys. But because of being married to a preacher, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and he just believed in being fruitful and multiplied, you know, and then he didn't realize he was being fruitful, but the Lord didn't tell him to have them all. So I just was an obedient wife.
We sat down with mom, dad, and children following Sunday services. Thaddeus is the youngest, but doesn't sing yet.
It's there. I can do it, man, but it's a lot of people like Tiffany, and she don't think I can do it. But Titus know I can do it.
Get a drummer.
You know what I'm saying? But I got into music a lot more with the drums. And but I can hold the tune anytime. If something was to happen to Titus, I got him.
This young athlete looks up to his siblings, especially his older sisters.
ideas, great business minds. It's more than singing. Like, my sisters are like so educated. They help you with anything, saving money, relationship advice, everything. They like just know, like they gonna tell you no, this, that. Like, they just help you with everything. This is more than just singing, and they help you with life in general.
The Showers aren't just singers. Away from the stage, the siblings run their own businesses across their hometown and even work for each other.
What are some do's and don'ts when you see the police lights behind you?
Teaching young people to operate trucks, training medical professionals, running recreation centers, after-school programs. And at the heart of it all is Regina. She's the oldest, manages the group, the family's record label, and runs two of her own businesses.
I am very much aware of the strides that have been made, and just thank God for it, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just swam, and God gave me my life jacket, and I survived.
The entire Showers family survived a major loss just 1 year ago. Their family home burned to the ground.
I was out cutting the grass, and I recognized that I didn't have my earmuffs, or my earplugs rather, and I came to the back patio to get them, and I noticed the patio was on fire. And I immediately said that I'm gonna go around and get the hose and put this out, but by the time I got around the house, the fire had spread it. And I immediately got my holler for my son and wife to get out.
It was a test of our faith, because that was my mom's dream home, and she always said that the Lord was going to bless her with a home, and where we came from and then where God has brought us, then to see it go up in the flames, it was truly a tragic experience. But you know, God still made a way out of no way, and he's going to do something bigger and better, just like he did for Job.
David was a lemonade maker.
Dad Showers' 30 years of sermon notes were the only items that didn't burn, and he used them to preach the very next Sunday.
I could go forward because I saw God in all of it. If I had not seen him in it, I could not have gone through it.
I need you. I need you. All over the world say, I need your help, Lord. I need you. I need you.
The fire even gave birth to new music and new life for the Showers family group in the middle of the ashes.
I was contemplating folding A&P Records because a lot was going on that week. So I was contemplating just giving it up, letting the music do what it do, and whatever transpires, I was gonna give up. But the Lord spoke through the fire and said, oh, you're not gonna do nothing. When I say you gonna give up, that's when you gonna give up.
And construction is underway on a new Showers family home. And these are just a few of the snapshots of the progress since our visit.
And the Showers family expands even more since that visit. They have launched a radio network, and a television network is soon to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back. CBN's Orphan Promise is helping to educate children all over the world. More than 50 children graduated from an education center in Armenia. Orphans Promise recently celebrated their graduation by giving them a diploma and promoting them to the next grade. Students work with Orphans Promise all year long to achieve high marks, and they were able to proudly finish the school year. Orphans Promise educates thousands of children every day in more than 61 countries. It is now time for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message I pray will first bless you and then move you to post, tag, tweet, and share with others to bless them. Consider this: distracted driving can be deadly, and distracted living can be even worse. It can derail your destiny, and dying without living God's best and fulfilling his purpose is simply not living at all. With that word, I encourage you to make this a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. And we'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing NewsWatch at CBN.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember, the news continues 24/7 at CBNNews.com. Until next time, have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless you.